With our model completed, we have one more thing to add, an armature or a rig, so that we can pose our character and she can jump into action. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my completed model, all the loose parts. I'm going to take all of these parts and join them all together so that we have one single object. So let me select everything, and then make sure I shift and click on the torso last so that it's highlighted in yellow. It's my active object. I'm going to press Ctrl J, and now this is all one model. Then I am going to add one of Blender's built-in available rigs. Make sure that under your add-ons the Rigify is on. We're not going to use all of its features, we just want to use some of the presets rigs that are available. I'm going to press Shift A, and under Armature, under Rigify Meta Rigs, under Basic, I'm going to select Basic Human. And before I start editing that armature, under the object data, I'm going to go to Viewport Display. Make sure it's set to in front. Under this icon, the little guy that's running is our armature data. I'm going to also, under Viewport Display, make sure that names are also active so I can see the bone names. And the armature selected, I'm going to jump into edit mode, and it's almost a little bit like modeling. We can grab, rotate and scale our bones. So I'm going to select all of these bones at the top, basically all except the legs. Press G and Z so that I can move them up straight on the Z axis. I don't need the pelvis bones, so I'm going to select them both and press X and then select bones. I don't need the breastbones. So now you sort of have to model the bones to fit inside of our model. It's basically becoming her skeleton. So you can select single bone points and move them. So I'm just moving these forward on the y-axis so that they sort of go down the center of our mesh. Then I'll bring up, oopsie daisy, I want to make sure my symmetry is active, so therefore whatever I do on the one side will also happen on the other side. Bring up my legs, that's going to be the knee. Don't need this many bones, so I'm going to select this top one, spine 6, press X and delete it, and now spine 5 will become my head bone. Okay, it looks like all the parts are positioned in the right places. So with that, I'm going to go to object mode. So now I need to bind my model to my skeleton. So I'm going to select the model first, then hold down shift and select the skeleton, press Ctrl P and select with automatic weights. And that's a lot of the work done for us, but there's a little bit of tweaks we need to do. So to see how our model reacts to the skeleton, we can go to pose mode and then select a bone, but I'm also going to activate symmetry here, and then you can rotate or move or scale bones. Basically it becomes a puppet. So that looks good to me. To reset any transformations, you'll press R and the corresponding transformation. So I want to press Alt R to cancel any rotations, Alt S for any scales, and Alt G to cancel any movements. Okay, so if I move the head, oh, now I've got a bit of an issue. I want the hair to move with the head. And to sort that out, I'm going to go to object mode, then select my model and go into edit mode. I'm going to press Alt A so that nothing is selected. Then I'm going to select one point on my hair and then press L so that all of the hair points are selected. And what I need Blender to know that this hair needs to move with this bone. And if we come to our vertex data, our mesh data, it's this little triangle, we have a section called vertex groups. And you'll see there's a bunch of names here, a bunch of groups, and all of these group names correspond with the bone names. So you see here, spine 5 is the head, and we want the hair to also move with spine 5. I'm going to come to my vertex groups, select spine 5 with the hair still selected. I'm going to make sure the weight is set to 1, and I'm going to click the assign button. If I go to object mode, select my armature, go to pose mode, and select the head and rotate it, now the hair is moving with it. So that's good and dandy. Let's see if I move the legs. Okay, that's good, I'm happy with that. If for some reason you move the leg and the hip is moving with it, then like we added weight to the hair group, we need to remove weight on the hips. So if your hips move with your legs, you can go into edit mode, select one of the points and press L. With everything selected, we need to make sure that this mesh doesn't have any influence from the thigh.L and the thigh.R. So let's go find the thigh.L, and then you can say, I don't have that problem right here, but I have seen it happen a couple of times, that you only have to do this if the hip moves with your legs. So with the hips then selected, I find thigh.L, remove the influence, I find thigh.R and remove the influence. Back to object mode, select my rig pose mode, let me rotate. Okay, so there's a bit of a problem. I don't want that cut happening there. Okay, how do I fix that? So what I want to do is I want basically these points between the hips and the torso to stay flat. I need to go to my mesh, edit mode, select my torso, press Shift A to hide, Shift H to hide everything. I need these points to be attached to the lower spine so that they don't lift up when the upper spine rotates. So I'm going to select these lower faces and I'm going to go find the spine group, make sure the influence is set to 1, and I'm going to say assign. And I also want to make sure it is no longer being influenced by spine 1. So I've selected spine and assign, then I'm going to select spine 1 and say remove. Then I'm going to say Alt H, Go to object mode, select my armature, go to pose mode, and that's much better. That concludes level 1. We've created a full character, PlayStation 1 style, low poly look. We've unwrapped the UVs, we've textured our model, and we gave her a simple rig, and she is ready for action.